No, nobody should be mad. He should enjoy himself, brother, before he go to jail.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Sean Diddy Combs has always been at the center of the music industry, but it seems like this time, he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Imagine losing a whopping $100 million in a court case and not even bothering to show up to defend yourself. That's exactly what happened to Diddy. He's just been hit with a massive default judgment after failing to contest a misconduct allegation involving inappropriate behavior. But how did things get this bad, and why didn't he even try to fight it? Let's dive deep into this latest legal drama surrounding the music mogul and unravel the messy details.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
The bombshell came out of nowhere. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest names in the music business, just lost a court case that saw a Michigan judge order him to pay $100 million. Yes, you heard that right. $100 million. And the reason? A man named Derek Lee Cardello Smith accused Diddy of doing something truly shocking. He claimed that Diddy assaulted him at a party way back in 1997. And apparently, this incident was so damaging that Cardello Smith finally decided to take legal action. But here's where it gets really interesting. Diddy didn't even show up to defend himself in court. Let's be real, when someone fails to defend themselves in a legal case, it raises eyebrows. Why wouldn't Diddy, with all his resources and top-tier legal team, put up a fight? After all, it's not like $100 million is pocket change, even for someone of his stature.
She said it then became clear it was the opportunity to either speak up about the trauma she's experienced and she'll be recovering from for the rest of her life, or just kind of remain silent. So she chose to speak up.
Well, according to Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, the whole thing is a fraud. Agnifilo has come out swinging, saying that his client doesn't even know the accuser. In fact, he's going so far as to call Cardello Smith's claims fraud on the court, and he's made it crystal clear that they plan to have this judgment dismissed. But for now, the judgment stands, and the internet is buzzing about what could have led to this massive legal loss. So, who exactly is Derek Lee Cardello Smith, and why is his story making waves now? Well, Cardello Smith is no stranger to the legal system. He's currently incarcerated and has a long history of filing lawsuits.
Is he controlling? Yes, he is. Will he put his hands on a female? Yes, he will. Will he put his hands on a male producer or anything? Yes, he will.
But don't let that fool you into thinking his claims can be brushed off. He's managed to teach himself criminal and civil law while behind bars, which might explain how he managed to secure this eye-popping judgment. Cardello Smith claims that he met Diddy while working in the restaurant and hospitality scene near Detroit in the late 90s. According to him, the two crossed paths at a wild party in 1997, where things allegedly took a dark turn.
But we've also heard that there's some secret lawsuit going on in New York City as it relates to Diddy, too. I don't know.
Cardello Smith's version of events is filled with disturbing details. He says that after meeting Diddy at the party, he was given something to drink, which left him feeling incapacitated. What happened next, according to Cardello Smith, is the stuff of nightmares. He says he woke up hours later to find Diddy involved in inappropriate behavior, and the incident left him traumatized for years. Fast forward a couple of decades, and now Cardello Smith is behind bars, but that didn't stop him from seeking justice in the courtroom. He even produced evidence that linked Diddy to his claims, including a prison visitation log showing that Diddy had visited him while he was locked up.
And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid.
The case reached a turning point earlier this year when Cardello Smith testified that Diddy tried to offer him a hefty sum, $2.3 million, to drop the lawsuit and move on. But Cardello Smith wasn't having any of it. He reportedly told Diddy, "I disagree with how you get down," refusing the settlement offer. And just like that, the case moved forward, with the judge eventually issuing a restraining order to stop Diddy from selling any assets that could potentially be used to pay damages to Cardello Smith. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. Diddy didn't show up for the virtual court hearing on September 9th.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
His absence led the judge to rule in favor of Cardello Smith by default, awarding him the staggering $100 million in damages. Now, if you're wondering why Diddy would ignore something this huge, you're not alone. Many are speculating that Diddy and his legal team might have a plan to appeal the judgment and get it tossed out. But as of now, the default judgment stands.
I think industry talk, there's a lot of people who, who have worked for him. There's been stories around, which is, not necessarily unusual.
But here's where things get even more complicated. Cardello Smith has a colorful legal history. He's known for being a persistent litigant and has filed numerous lawsuits during his time in prison. In fact, he's gone after some pretty powerful figures in the past, including the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Detroit. Cardello Smith claims that he was abused by priests and a lay employee from the Archdiocese between the late 1970s and the early 90s. While some might question his motives, there's no denying that this guy knows his way around the legal system. And that's likely why he was able to secure such a massive judgment against Diddy.
That's not the issue. The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who...
Now, as if all of this weren't enough, this latest case against Diddy is just one of many that have surfaced in recent years. The music mogul has been hit with multiple lawsuits, each alleging some kind of inappropriate behavior.
Said I'm 99% sure he's going to be indicted because 99% of grand juries end in indictments.
I told you he had some problems coming.
In fact, just a few months ago, Diddy faced another serious accusation from singer Cassie Ventura, who was once his girlfriend. Cassie filed a lawsuit claiming that Diddy had mistreated her during their relationship, which she says was filled with physical and emotional harm. The case was settled almost immediately, with Diddy reportedly paying an undisclosed amount to make it go away. But while the settlement might have closed that chapter, it's left a lot of people wondering whether these accusations against Daddy are part of a larger pattern.
Today, all over our social media pages, Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
And it doesn't stop there. Diddy has also been dealing with federal investigations into other aspects of his life, including a human trafficking probe. In March, federal agents raided his properties in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing evidence as part of an ongoing investigation. While Diddy hasn't been formally charged with any crimes, these raids sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. And now, with this massive court judgment hanging over his head, it seems like Diddy's legal troubles are far from over.
The Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Field Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs.
It seems like Diddy's fall from grace is happening faster than anyone could have predicted. Losing a $100 million court case is bad enough, but what if this is just the beginning of the end for him?
This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner.
Rumors are swirling that this latest legal blow might be the final nail in the coffin for Diddy's empire. People are asking, is this the moment when one of music's most powerful figures finally faces the consequences of his actions? And let's be honest, it's not looking good for him. Experts are already saying that things could get way worse. Some are even predicting that Diddy might be facing an arrest soon, and depending on how deep his legal troubles go, there's a very real chance he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Think about it. This isn't just one case. This is part of a much bigger storm. Over the years, there's been a growing list of accusations and lawsuits targeting Diddy, and this $100 million judgment could set the stage for other accusers to step forward.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
Let's face it, we live in a world where once one case cracks open, a flood of others often follows. Other victims could see this massive payout as a precedent, and before long, Diddy might find himself battling even more legal cases. Can you imagine what that would do to his reputation, to his finances? And speaking of finances, the rumors are flying that Diddy's once rock-solid business empire might be teetering on the edge of collapse.
Oh, man, yeah, that's crazy, man. But have you been hearing any news about him getting indicted or no?
Sure, Diddy was once the king of hip-hop, launching Bad Boy Records and putting out some of the biggest names in music. But the reality is, lawsuits like these don't just hit your wallet. They hit your brand, your partnerships, and your future. It's no secret that Diddy's business ventures have been struggling lately.
The only way he will not go to prison for the time that they want to give him is if he start giving them something.
Just look at his partnership with Kyrock, the premium spirit brand that was once a cash cow for him. It's been reported that Diddy's grip on that business is slipping, especially in the wake of his mounting legal troubles. He's even been forced to step down from his role at Revolt TV, the media company he once proudly helmed. That's not a good look for someone trying to maintain his public image as a savvy entrepreneur. And let's not forget, Diddy's public persona is built on the idea that he's untouchable, a mogul who always comes out on top no matter what. But now that image is starting to crack. His brand is suffering, and if these lawsuits keep piling up, it's only going to get worse. And here's the thing, once a powerful figure like Diddy starts to fall, it's hard to stop the downward spiral. Major corporations, business partners, and investors don't want to be associated with someone whose name is constantly linked to scandal after scandal.
That I know that there's a lot of evidence to gather over many years, but is it possible that a federal indictment could be just around the corner?
I would hesitate to say just around the corner, because with all of the experience I've had with office approaches cases, they do not move until they have you fully, like they have you dead to rights.
There are even rumors that some of Diddy's business associates are quietly distancing themselves from him. No one wants to be caught up in the mess if things continue to unravel. The problem is, it's not just about distancing from him, it's about money. If Diddy starts losing revenue because of these lawsuits, it won't be long before creditors, banks, and business partners start looking for ways to protect their own interests. Could Diddy be heading toward financial ruin? Some think so, and when you consider the $100 million judgment against him, it's easy to see why. Paying out a sum like that could be a huge blow, even for someone as wealthy as Diddy.
Diddy came to the jail and said that, hey, I'll give you $2.3 million or something like that, or 23. I don't know if it's 2.3 or $23 million to make this go away. We'll leave this alone the whole 9 yards. Just like I just said, he's trying to pay people off to make things go away, for them to drop their suits and everything like that.
But that's not all. There's another shadow hanging over Diddy that people can't seem to stop talking about. For years, there have been whispers connecting Diddy to one of the most infamous incidents in music history, the 1996 shutting of Shaker. It's one of those unsolved mysteries that still captivates the public's imagination. And even though there's never been any solid proof linking Diddy to the incident, the rumors have never really gone away.
Tupac Shakur is a music legend, and for a long time, this community and worldwide have been wanting justice for Tupac. Today, we are taking that first step.
Some people believe that Diddy was more involved in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry than he's ever let on. And now, with his legal troubles mounting, could we be looking at renewed scrutiny of his past? There are whispers that this latest wave of lawsuits might reignite old conspiracy theories, and if the public starts connecting the dots, it could spell even more trouble for Diddy.
The only man currently facing murder charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
Think about it. If people start digging into his past, what else might they uncover? There are already legal experts drawing parallels between Diddy's current situation and other high-profile cases involving powerful men in entertainment. Some are saying that Diddy's fate might end up being similar to that of Jeffrey Epstein or R. Kelly, men who once seemed invincible but eventually faced legal consequences that no one saw coming. One legal expert even said that Diddy could end up spending decades in prison if these allegations prove to be true.
So when is it possible that we would actually see him being arrested or facing any of these indictments? Could it be months down the line?
I feel that it would be months down the line. I would not be surprised if it was before the end of this year. Because again, this is going to be a massive investigation involving at least 3 states, much as we saw in the.
And it's not just legal experts weighing in. Social media is on fire with people discussing Diddy's downfall. The court of public opinion is ruthless, and once people start turning against a celebrity, it's almost impossible to win them back. People are already questioning how Diddy has managed to avoid facing serious consequences for so long. Some are saying that his wealth and influence have shielded him from accountability, but that might not be enough anymore. With every new lawsuit, every new piece of evidence, and every new accuser, Diddy's empire is looking shakier by the day.
It's my initial reaction because that's how I always feel when I see situations like this. And then there's this weird sense of grief because it is Diddy, right? Diddy is a hip-hop hero. He's an ordinary person who did extraordinary things. To sit here and act like the man wasn't a huge part of our upbringing is a damn lie. So there's this weird sense of grief. Like another one of our heroes has ruined their legacy and it's their own fault because of poor choices?
It's hard not to wonder if Diddy is prepared for what's coming next. He's got a lot on his plate right now. The $100 million judgment, the potential for more lawsuits, and the very real possibility of criminal charges down the line. If federal investigations into his activities uncover anything substantial, he could be facing charges that go beyond civil court. And let's be honest, if that happens, Diddy could be looking at a life sentence.
Is there any possibility that he walks away clean from this, that everything is dropped and he faces no charges or any prison time?
Not impossible. I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. I see him kind of going the path of R. Kelly, where again, for so many decades, he was able to act with impunity and just, with harming so many, young women.
It's a shocking thought. One of hip-hop's biggest moguls spending the rest of his life behind bars. But when you consider how quickly things have escalated, it doesn't seem so far-fetched. Just look at how R. Kelly's case unfolded. At first, it seemed like Kelly would never face justice. But once the floodgates opened and more victims came forward, it became clear that he couldn't outrun the consequences forever. Diddy might find himself in a similar situation. There's only so long you can deny, settle, or hide before the truth catches up.
Named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac's.
But here's the real question. Can Diddy survive this storm, or is his time up? Some people think he still has a chance to bounce back. After all, he's weathered plenty of scandals in the past and come out on top. He's a master of reinvention. From Puff Daddy to PB Diddy to just plain Diddy, he's always managed to stay relevant. But this time feels different. The stakes are higher, the accusations more serious, and the consequences potentially life-changing.
You can't just keep changing the top layer. You got to do some real internal work, and you have all the money, all the resources to have access to the best everything. Stop spending the money and using the resources to attempt to cover up your lies, and start using the money and the resources.
So, what happens next? Will Diddy's legal team be able to appeal the $100 million judgment and buy him some time? Or will more victims come forward emboldened by the court's ruling and bring even more lawsuits to the table? It's hard to say, but one thing is certain, the world is watching, and Diddy's every move is being scrutinized.
You heard about Diddy law firm breaking ties with him and Miami Beach taking his day away?
Well, all the things that happened to Diddy, and he losing friends, companies, cities, city names, city girls.
If Diddy does end up facing criminal charges, it could be the end of an era. For decades, he'd been one of the most influential figures in music, but a prison sentence would change everything. His businesses, his legacy, his entire empire could crumble in an instant. And for the people who have been following his career from the beginning, it's a surreal thought. How did it come to this? How did the man who helped shape the careers of legends like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige end up here facing the possibility of losing everything?
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his trial, which he has pleaded not guilty for.
As the legal battles continue to unfold, one thing is clear: Diddy's future is uncertain, and the road ahead is anything but smooth. Whether he fights back or falls further, the outcome of this saga will have ripple effects not just for him, but for the entire entertainment industry. Will other powerful figures in the industry be next? Are we witnessing the beginning of a larger reckoning for those who've managed to avoid accountability for too long? These are the questions on everyone's mind, and until we get answers, the speculation will only grow. For now, Diddy's empire hangs in the balance, and the world is waiting to see if he'll survive the storm or be swept away by it. What do you think? Can Diddy recover from this, or is it already too late? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. You won't want to miss what happens next.